What we're going to see is a world first. This is the first time ever a hamburger from cells grown outside of the cow is being made and presented.
Hey everyone, today I want to talk about Mosa Meat. They are starting a crowdfunding campaign on Crowdcube. The link is in the description. One good thing to note, and this is applicable to everything I'm talking about on this channel, is something that Crowdcube talks about. Don't invest more than 10% of your assets into these kind of companies. They are highly risky, and you could end up losing all of your money. The same thing goes for companies like Cold Food Science, Agronomics, Stakeholder Foods, Bee Silk, Solar Foods, anything that I'm covering on this channel. Even though it doesn't count as a crowdfunding campaign, I would still approach it with the same kind of risk mentality. Super exciting opportunity for those of you who might want to invest in a cultivated meat company to be directly involved. So there's two parts to this video. The first part is a look back at Mark Post, what his original thoughts and dreams and ideas were back over 10 years ago. This was the first tasting that they ever did anywhere in the world back in 2013. And it's just interesting to see what he was saying then and where we are now. At that time he was saying, okay, we need about 10 years. And here we are 11, 12 years later. And now we have these products that still aren't quite there, but they are getting really good. And now we have the prototypes that are good. Now we need to build the scale up. We need to build the technology. We need to start doing commercialization, actually building these companies, scaling, growing the business. So over the next 10, 20 years, we can get a viable industry. Well, let's look at that video. The second video is then looking at their investment proposal for their crowdfunding campaign.
For me, there are three major reasons why I think we need to do this. One is that demand for meat worldwide is going to increase, and we are not going to match that demand with current production methods. Second, we by now know that livestock actually produces a lot of greenhouse gases, so current production methods are bad for the environment. And third, there are animal welfare issues, and if you can relieve some of those issues with alternative methods of producing meat, that would be a great benefit too. We use cells from a cow. We harvest them through a harmless procedure. We take them out of the cow, expand them in the lab until we have 40 billion cells. They form real muscle fibers, and that's the basis for our meat. So if we have a lot of those muscle fibers, we can basically make a hamburger out of them. Everyone
sitting here with bated breath is dying to see what's underneath the cloche. So can you do the honours and lift the lid on your creation?
So the aim is to, of course, make a consumer product out of it. It may take 10 years, maybe even earlier, but 10 years is probably a good guess.
The burger tasted, it had a very sort of bland, neutral flavor. The thing that made it most similar to real beef was the texture. When I bit into it, I was impressed with the bite and how it did have a kind of density that was familiar.
I have been waiting for this day for the last 2 years because this is an idea that came up 2 years ago, and we finally got the funding for it and worked very hard, had lots of obstacles. So when it's finally there, you know, this is a proud moment. This is really something exciting.
That was 10 years ago. Before I get into the second part of the video, I just want to show where we are today, or where we were 5 months ago. This is the first tasting, public tasting, open to the wider public, not just done on TV, of their burger.
Welcome at Mosa Meat today, where we'll be having our first official tasting of cultivated beef burger.
I know I keep interrupting, but I want to make this point. Let's look at where they were 12 years ago. It was unveiled as a lab-grown meat burger in a petri dish. Is clearly a science experiment. Obviously, when you look at that, you don't want to eat it. It sounds cool scientifically. Here we are 12 years later, and I would eat that. That looks pretty good. That looks like a normal hamburger. It's just made in a different way.
En de burger smaakte echt naar vlees. Dat vond ik echt heel erg leuk, want normaal eet ik geen vlees. Maar ik mis de smaak van vlees heel erg. En dit is echt dé manier om dat straks weer toe te voegen aan mijn dagelijks eten, hoop ik.
Ja, de burger was heel verrassend en ja, smaakte eigenlijk heel goed.
Ik vond de burger fantastisch smaken. Het was echt juicy, was lekker sappig. Dus nee, het was een fantastische burger.
Voor mij is kweekvlees echt een product van de toekomst. En ik ben heel benieuwd wat voor producten we daarmee kunnen gaan maken.
Ik denk dat het een mogelijkheid wordt naast alle dingen die we nu al kennen.
12 years later from that first unveiling that was done publicly, this is where they are today. And we can see where they've come in the last 10, 12 years. Looking forward, where will they be in the next 10 to 20 years? I believe we have hit the Tesla Roadster version of cultivated meat. We just don't know who the companies are yet that are going to become the next Tesla. We have those prototypes. A lot of companies at that time, A1, 2, 3, failed. Tesla was successful. No one knew at the time when the Roadster was released that Tesla was going to be successful. 20 years later, they're becoming one of the biggest companies in the world. What will be the analog for the cultivated meat, alternative protein industry? There'll probably be more companies than just one. But that's the kind of thing I want to start exploring in this channel. And with that, here's the investor crowdfunding presentation for anyone who's interested.
Mosa Meat is pioneering an innovative technology that produces real, delicious beef directly from the cells of a cow. Our founders Mark Post and Peter Verstraeten unveiled the very first cultivated beef burger in 2013. This proof of concept gave rise to what is now a growing sector of 150 companies that make animal products directly from cells. In the past few years, Mosa Meat has developed a consumer product that has received a raving review for its culinary performance, and we have started producing at an industrial scale. Cultivated meat gives us the opportunity to reshape the European and even the global food system to be more sustainable, healthy, animal-friendly and climate resilient by reducing our dependence on the cow. In order to realize this incredibly important impact, we have the ambition to significantly scale up production capacity in Europe and beyond.
After we optimize our unit economics, the next step is to develop commercial-sized production facilities that maximize the potential of our impact. In parallel, we are in touch with regulators across the globe about introducing our cultivated beef to consumers.
Thanks as always for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.